Dude, the horse flies, my gosh! My butt wet. The world was a better place when we bullied each other. So y'all probably seen this boss buck, recognize it from either some trail cam videos we've done or just videos throughout the year. But I was just kind of walking around here at the metal gate and looking at some of the trails, and then I found this poke salad right here. At least that's what we call it. I'm sure there's a bunch of names for it, but this stuff's incredible for them, and they're hammering it. See where it's all clipped off? Basically every little shoot that's coming off, look how low they've clipped that next to it. And this stuff behind it, or more of that shoot coming off behind it. That is premium food right there. Here's some more. At least where we're at. Probably all over the southeast, I'd imagine, but see how they just hammered all that. I'll try and right here, 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 all on the top. And I think there's some across the field. So we're gonna walk over there, kind of look at it, but it's hard to find. Just depends on where you're at, what you have readily available around you, but harder to find stuff that's super high in protein and fat. We'll throw up some numbers on, estimate numbers on poke salad, but that's cool to see. Just natural forage they're working on right beside a feeder. We got a lot of bucks in this area. Traditionally, it kind of tends to hold a lot of bucks during the growing months, and so a lot of bucks means they need a lot of food. And if they don't have enough food, they're gonna leave. So they're eating on this one. You see all the clips all the way up it. Oh, heck yeah. Man, that is crazy. So this stalk was big. Right, that's my thumb next to it. But they ate all that all the way down. Same thing right here. Nipped all around it. These stalks right here eat to the ground. No leaves left on that one. All these nipped. That's 1, 2, 3, 4-ish stalks right there. We're right across the field. You see the boss buck over there? But the way they're walking and all this stuff, because there's poke salad just kind of around right here, you can sort of see the trail down through where they're moseying around and just destroying that. That's amazing. Everywhere there is poke salad right here. They're eating the piss out of it. that's really cool. I wish I knew where a bunch more of it was on the property. I know a couple places on our south property line where there's some, but that is a big group of it. See, oh man, right in front of the box right here. Where they're nipping around that. They're just eating the leaves off of it. I really need to put a camera on that. I don't have one with me. I'll try and put a camera on that next week. Maybe a couple cameras, just to kind of see what that looks like and see what a little more traditional browsing activity may look like, because that's going to be consistent food for them throughout the entire off season. And they're going to keep hammering it, so that's sweet. That's good stuff. I'm glad we saw that. All right, so came through the main gate, and there's big machinery tracks, big tractor, some kind of loader or something, bunch of truck tracks. I was thinking maybe they'd be on our property. We don't really share our gate with anybody except the guys that hunt back here, and the only time they use it is if they're cruising timber, if they're cutting timber really. And so tracks go out the property. They must be working back there off in the distance. I don't hear them, but always sketchy times when you drive in, you see tire tracks that aren't yours on the property. Get a little antsy. Salt lick activity, mineral lick, whatever you want to call it. Another spot, another good sign. Well, I don't know if y'all heard that, but my butt wet. That did not go as planned. We're gonna need to regroup and spray another day. I can put it back together, but I'd have to go back to the cabin and refill it. Oh well. So we're back at our fallen comrade here. I'll be honest, I forgot that was down, so I don't have the chainsaw. We're really crushing it this week. We got 2 bars of gas left. If you came here from the vlog last week, all 1,000 of you that did, and you're just keeping up, hoping I run out of gas, we're on our way, baby. So to kind of continue that thought, even if you aren't on your property as much in the off season, and you're thinking that food during the spring and summer isn't going to help me kill more deer, I would totally disagree. Like, you can't kill deer if they aren't on your property. So part of the challenge is, how do I figure out how to hold these deer? How do I figure out, we talk about it a ton, limited resources, which food absolutely is one. How do I figure out how to locate and isolate these deer? Part of that is, what are they eating? That food, whether I put another bag of feed in that boss buck for the rest of the off season, those deer are going to be eating that poke salad, pokeweed, whatever you call it. And I can count on there being deer probably in that field, but around that field when season rolls around, because those deer feel safe eating in that location right now during the spring and summer. And if you can find places where a deer feel safe eating, grazing, hanging out in the spring and summer, more than likely you can encounter them in the fall during bow season specifically. That early window when pressure's still low, they're going to be where they've been feeling safe, where they've been feeling comfortable the rest of the off season. And you want to ambush them, essentially. You want to find those places. I want to know where that type food is on my property, because I do feel like it gives me a better chance to come, face to face with one of those bucks when the season rolls around. And food was a big challenge for us for a long time, but if you know what your challenges were, food was a big challenge. Water was a major challenge. I talked about it in one of the videos. The drought year, there was a drought in 2019, and we had amazing forage soybeans, but by the time season rolled around, we had no deer on our property. We had planted our fields and it was just dirt. So we put 110-gallon water tanks out and kind of flipped the script. We haven't had a drought since, but it's like figuring out what your challenges are and almost flipping the script and trying to make those strengths, right? So food was a challenge for a long time for us, and we have since expanded food plots. Obviously, we do some feeding, minerals, like all the different things that you can get out there and just make happen on your own has taken us to a place where we do kill a lot. I would say a high percentage of our deer in food plots. Probably over the past 5 years, I would guess over 70% of our deer have been in food plots. We don't have big food plots. Maybe we have big food plots for our area. I'm not really sure how we stack up, for the people in our county. I would think we're close. Like those 2-acre fields, those are pretty big. But we've since turned something that was a big challenge for us into a strength. Like food is a strength on our property, I feel like. When bucks show up on our property, they have a consistent food source and they don't want to leave. We kill bucks that we have history with for 3, 4, 5 years. We killed one buck with 5 years of history. We've killed 4 bucks that we had 4 years of history with, which is amazing. I mean, that's hard to do. Like, that's hard to track deer that long, to hold them on your property. And I guess it's easier to do if nobody's a good hunter, like on your property and around you, maybe. But I don't feel like that's the case for us. I feel like we got, some guys that are pretty hardcore about it, that get after it and want to kill deer. So figuring out where the food on your property is, figuring out how to turn weaknesses into strengths. I mean, it's an ongoing process that never ends. Every year looks different on your property, especially if it's leased land. If you own it, you can make it look however you want. It'll still change from year to year, but leased land, like, the challenges are different for each and every one of us, which is it's so cool. Like, I went to North Florida last week and hung out with a guy, and they've clear cut, 80% of his property. So he's got food everywhere. I mean, clear cut is basically, the buffet food hack. They haven't planted it back. But he's implementing a feeding program, and you know, he's got bachelor groups of 4, 5, 6 bucks around feeders, and he's stoked about it because it's a long-term investment for him, and he views it as not like just short-term, but figuring out how to invest into the deer that you have and get them to a place where, you know, maybe they're better than they've ever been, and then, you know, years down the road, there's just such a huge benefit to excess nutrition in your deer herd. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I've been rambling a while. Maybe you'll hear something and you'll be like, man, that makes a little bit of sense. Maybe I could do that. I really hope that stuff's called poke salad, because I'm gonna feel like an idiot if it's not. I've been thinking about that ever since I said it the first time. It's all right though. The world was a better place when we bullied each other, so y'all can bully me in the comments. This conversation took a weird turn.